Hey guys, we just got back from Soldado. Sicario, Day of Soldado. Day of the Soldier, for those of you who do not know Spanish. Yes. This one was written by...
Already. Okay.
I agree 100%.
It wasn't that bad.
I hated the ending, and I felt that it was completely unnecessary. The characters going through the motions, and it cheapened it.
The first one was so good.
The first one was so good, and yes, it does. And I don't know why. So the first one is very macabre, very dark, very morose.
Very good.
And very good, showing you the realities, of the situation, and the sort of, circular, nonsense of the way the gears of government
violence begets violence and so
exactly.
on.
And this one kind of does the exact same thing, only worse, with a worse story and far more cliches put into it. And I didn't want to say that because I love Del Toro. I love Josh Brolin.
I think he's so great in this one.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah, they're great, but they almost sometimes feel like caricatures of themselves.
Yeah.
And just kind of going through the motions. I think one of the major problems of the film, at least for me, other than it feeling completely unnecessary, is I get it. I get the world. I get what you're doing about it's dark. It's not going to end the way you want and all that kind of stuff, but there was no character that I could... So Emily Blunt obviously was really good in the first because she was like this window into this world, and the audience.
Everything by the book.
Exactly.
She was an idealist. She knew how things should be, and then they kind of showed her what the real world was, and it was horrifying. You got to live that feel horrified with her.
Yeah.
Like when she's throwing up, you're just like, oh my man, I kind of want to throw up too. Like there's some serious parts of that movie, and this one you just didn't care.
You didn't give a shit because you didn't have a character like her. This one revolves, the plot around, I'm not going to spoil anything, we'll save that for the spoiler section, but it revolves around, the Mexican cartels again, and the daughter of a Mexican cartel character. And you just don't get anything from her or from Del Toro's character, who ends up as her companion throughout most of the film. And I just don't really buy some of the motivations behind this kind of thing. And it really just kind of meanders and goes nowhere. And then cuts off with a horrible ending that is more concerned about setting up a sequel and another one.
Yeah.
It feels cheap. It cheapens these characters. It cheapens the franchise. When I felt the first one was so strong, we probably didn't need another one.
I think they planned. It's always been a trilogy, right?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't know it was a book series.
Yeah.
Is it a book series?
I know. I just think it was written. I don't know.
Written as a trilogy? Okay, well then in that case, he's trying to set up and he's doing his best to sequel bait. And let me tell you, this one is just as pointless feeling as Jurassic Park Fallen Kingdom. Ooh. You know what I mean? It kind of sets up, here's what the next one might do. This one kind of does that, but I don't even want to see the next one, what it's trying to set up. Whereas in Fallen Kingdom, you're like, oh my God, that might be an interesting
Dinosaur murder would be cool, but I don't want to see any more pointless murder in this third of this movie.
Exactly. So, whereas I was super excited going into this second sequel because I thought it would be yeah. Did you see it, Joe, on Rotten Tomatoes?
No, I didn't see it.
Oh,
What happened?
The score was like 91, I think, when I looked at it. Then it was like 85.
The hype meter would have been. I was like, I love the first one.
The hype meter's at like 97. People want to see this, but now it's at 65.
No.
Okay, and this is one of those rare cases that the RT score is actually kind of reflective of once you go in and then when you come out, because the score literally fell when we came out. We went in and then we came out and we felt the same way. Very disappointing, very pointless, and what would you feel about it, Joe? What about
Well, going into it, I read the summary of it. It was basically like the U.S. border and the Mexican border, the drug cartel, and now they're doing terrorism involved.
Oh yeah, I was worried.
It was
yeah.
like 1 minute. I was like, okay, so it's not what I expected at all.
Right, no.
There's like really no terrorism at all.
Yeah, exactly. So they set up this subplot where it makes you roll your eyes. You're like, oh god, great.
Yeah.
Here they go on with they're through the border patrol. They show, oh no, Muslims are coming across the border now, and then the camera zooms in on their prayer carpets, and they play the most ominous fucking music as they're staring at just normal prayer carpets. These are that's what they use in the normal religion. Oh no, the Muslims are. God, but exactly after that, they completely drop that storyline and essentially kind of do the first film, but just
Worse.
poorly.
Oh, this time he's like, remember our first job? This time, no rules. You can do whatever you want.
What rules were in the first one?
And then,
That's what he said.
and I even think the writing had a little bit of problems because he was like, "We're setting you loose, no rules," and he goes, "What about rules?" You remember that part? Wasn't it something like that? He was
I
like,
just told you.
"I just said no rules. Why are you asking me what you can and can't do? There are no rules." So Josh Brolin's character was talking to.
He was good.
So I think Joe's tapping in and Alex is tapping into how many cliches there are in this film. The first Sicario didn't have any of that bullshit. It felt realistic.
Oh, yeah.
It felt like it subverted your expectations many times. And here it is following tropes. It feels like it's completely written by a different person. Yeah. In my opinion, and we'll talk about more of the stupid things that characters do that I can't stand. I must say it, but I will say it in spoilers. So there's these politics, and it just it gets things real messy. And I understand the message because that's kind of how the first one was, but this one, it's a few levels above, like it involves the president and stuff like that, and you're like, suspension of disbelief here is really being stressed by the film with those cliches and
ridiculous coincidences that just kept happening, and it was
plot conveniences.
Yeah, it's like, all right, we wrote ourselves into a corner. What do we do? Oh, I know, we'll do this thing, and it's like 1 in a million chance, and then it's another 1 in a million chance, and let's just hope that continues to happen and the audience bought it. But
it's a damn shame because the film, while the first film had the realistic feel, realistic cinematography, this one carried that same thing, right? It's just did you enjoy the cinematography in this?
I did, just not the story as much.
Yeah. And there was one really great action scene, I'll give it that. I love these sort of convoys. Reminds me of, this is the inverse of the convoy scene in Harrison Ford's film, because it's very claustrophobic. Remember those dudes? It's one of the most famous, I think, Clear and Present Danger.
Yeah.
No, it was probably a different
Air Force
one.
One.
No, Joe,
Get
with
off
the
my
missiles. Yeah. Anyways, they have a convoy scene here in the middle of a desert, and you're like, no, we'll see everything coming. I got this, and I really enjoyed that scene. It was really good.
It didn't make any
really
sense,
cool.
but yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it didn't make. It made perfect sense.
They have a
It made
drone
perfect sense to me.
thousands of feet up in the air, scouting the entire area, and then all of a sudden a bunch of trucks show up.
No. They spotted it and they said they're on their way, and goddamn
We
it.
can't really say what happened.
Yeah. So it's
We'll just say that out of nowhere, a bad guy showed up, and despite having $15 million worth
And there was a
equipment-
great action scene, and you guys have probably seen this in the trailer because unfortunately I haven't seen the trailer, but I heard they showed a lot in the trailer, and
a lot of that lately.
I'm kind of making an estimate that they showed too much in the trailer because there's really not much here. And so I'm thinking that if there's not much here, then they probably showed it off in the trailer. Mm-hmm. So unfortunately, a film that pales in comparison to its predecessor in almost every single way.
It's not as bad as we've been real hard on it. So I don't think this is a horrible film. I wouldn't even consider this bad.
No, yeah,
but
okay, you're right.
Like if you just listening to what we're saying, like this is like a 1 or a 2. It's like it's not that bad. But when you're comparing it to something that was truly great and unexpected,
yeah.
and our hopes were high, and you see this, it's understandable that we don't like it all that much.
Yeah. It's got good performances from the people you think is going to put in good performance. good performances. Great realistic action that is tension-filled and well filmed, but the dialogue has some problems, mainly due to the script, the story, and the cliches one after another, the coincidences and the tropes. So that's what brings down Sicario.
Stupid decisions that characters are told to make.
It's time to give it a final verdict. So we'll start with Alex.
Oh.
What would you give Sicario Day of Soldado?
I want to go last because I don't know
Soldier.
yet. This feels kind of average-ish. And so
Okay.
if I try to separate it from the original, and if this was on Netflix and
Well,
I just
that's
watched
the
it out of the
thing.
blue, what would I give this if I just watched some crappy, easily digestible actiony movie? Because this is more suspense and thrilling. It's not about the explosions. And this feels kind of fairly. This is like a Netflix 5. It's an average film that's got some good scenes. It's got some good acting. I mean, they did some stuff to Benicio del Toro in this movie that were great, and I just I'll remember those scenes for a while. This doesn't feel bad, but it's not.
No, it's not. It's not satisfying, and not satisfying in a Hollywood way, but it's not even satisfying in the original ways. In fact, this feels so separated from the original that these could be completely different characters and have zero connection to the first film. And in many ways, it's kind of like that. And this is just peeking into that world in its most boring story, aside from one convoy action scene.
Yeah.
I'm not joking. And since we've already been in this world, we've already been exposed to the hypocrisy and the darkness of it. This is just more of it in a bad way, without a message to tell, without a really good story to give you. What would you give it, Joe?
All right. Here's what would improve it for me.
Yeah,
they would continue the story with the fight with the drug cartel, and
we never saw any.
Let's just make it a revenge plot. Benicio del Toro's character goes and kills, what's his name, Carlos Reyes.
Yeah.
They have an amazing shootout. We'll do that. I wanted to see that kind of.
And you know what's weird? We never ever once see a single cartel head or boss.
No,
Well, that's common in the
continuation.
third one. I think that's what the third one's
Just
supposed
trying to set
yeah,
up.
I think so. But.
So this is just a filler, but this is just a filler. I did not like the ending to this.
Yeah.
I still like the performances and everything. For this, I'm gonna have to go with a 6. I feel like this is it's not a bad movie.
You see above average?
Yeah, it's above average. If you're just chilling at the house, it's a good watch. If you're bored or whatnot.
Yeah, I agree with that a lot. I was wavering between a 6 and a 5 because I do think it does have some above average elements. The way it's filmed, the way it's told, the soundtrack, it all gets you in that Sicario mood and world. It's just a disappointing, average, at best, storyline with so many cliches and so many tropes and problems that the first film didn't have. It feels like creatively he stretched it. It could have been, if he really does want that third film, I bet you by the end, if we watch all 3, 2 films would have done the job, like you're saying.
Yeah, because
Joe,
in the beginning he starts going one way and then it completely just stops.
it kind of drags out. It stops and then it
dead
drags.
end. So what
And then it
happened?
ends. It literally ends.
So what's going on with the
We started to
terrorists?
get our checks
No?
when at a point in the movie where the movie was still way far from being resolved, and I knew that was a bad sign. I was like, Joe, is it about to be
I was
over?
like, I guess so.
Yeah, so that's when you knew
So it
it's
lost me in the beginning and then at the end.
Yeah.
I was like,
The beginning had nothing. The beginning, I thought we were seeing. I mean, you touched on it a little bit. This was a completely unrelated movie. It starts and it's like, what movie are we seeing? What is this?
Exactly. So like I said, I was wavering between 6 and 5, and I want to give it a 6, but to be fair, and our ratings are actually contextual to certain things. And if I compare this most to the original, I think it's a 5 out of 10. if you're coming in it, blind and you've never seen the first one and you just wanted sort of something about maybe the Mexican cartels, but if you were looking for just some interesting Black Ops stuff, then yeah, I can see you, even then you're gonna end up at a 6, maybe a little higher than that, or probably lower. So, but what I'm saying, but compared to the first one, I think it's a 5 out of 10. I feel like my time was wasted. I feel like the ending was wholly unsatisfactory, and not in the, it's not a Hollywood ending, but this one is clearly just trying to set up that third film, and I didn't appreciate it because I didn't get a satisfying resolution to this one. So 5 out of 10. I would save your money. I really wanted to recommend this film over, say Jurassic Park: Fallen Kingdom.
Uncle Drew.
But here's the thing: I would rather you watch. I would rather you watch Jurassic Park: Fallen Kingdom to make fun of it. To make fun of it with us at how dumb and stupid that film is, because you can't really make fun of this one. It just ends, and you're like, oh. Well, it could have been a lot better. Yeah, it's you know what I mean? So that's why, in comparison to such a high mark of Sicario, this one fails. All right, guys, a little long on the review, but we liked the first one so much, we wanted to really get a lot of our opinions out on this one. So if you want to stick around for spoilers, we'll kind of give you the plot. Shouldn't take more than 10 minutes because the plot's so simple. And thank you very much for watching. We'll see you guys on the next Angry Joe Show. Bye, guys. Hey guys, welcome to the spoiler section. So essentially what the plot line that we couldn't really talk about is the Defense Secretary, with permission from the president, wanted to start a war between the cartels because Muslims?
The cartels had shipped in one terrorist.
Yeah,
and
I'm the captain now.
And then
the pirate captains
Somalian
who
pirates.
control all the ships in that area were paid by the Mexican cartel to let the ship through that had the migrants on there that came in with the bombs that went into Target.
No, it was just that one.
Just one came from there. The ones that blew up the Target were from New Jersey.
Yes.
Aha. See, that's why we got confused and the plot line got dropped, because it was like, reactionary politics. Our minds and hearts are with you, and now we're gonna get them. But then America never knows what they do. But yet behind closed doors, we go on this Black Op mission. It's like, all right, fuck Mexico's cartels. We're gonna go in and we don't give a shit about the Mexican government or the police or nothing. Let's start a war.
Yeah,
and this all has to be hush hush.
We'll kill this cartel's attorney and we'll kidnap that cartel's daughter, and then it'll be really this sweet thing, and then it falls apart.
So they get Brolin, who does, he'll do all the. You want me to get dirty? I'll get dirty. That kind of thing.
That's why we brought you in, because you're dirty.
And exactly, that's what he says. And then, of course, he's got his buddy who he works with on these missions, who is his Sicario, and
hitman.
He's a hitman, yeah. So, and he knows the ropes and everything. And so they basically kidnap one of the most powerful drug cartel's daughter.
Make it look like it's the rival game.
Mm-hmm. And then it turns out that the police are on the payroll of the cartels.
Who would have known?
Whoa! So they turn their guns on the convoy. Man, those are some really strong ass fucking bulletproof windows that it's gonna stop a 50 cal at that range? Shit, I don't think so, but whatever. Okay.
That's what got you in this movie?
Yeah, whatever. No, but I was like, there's no way that I was like, these police cannot betray them because that caliber is way too big for that bullet. But I guess, hey, I'm behind on military tech. So that's when this gun battle happens, and they turn on the federales and basically have a gun battle in Mexico or in America?
No, Mexico.
Okay, Mexico. It doesn't matter, but this is going to create this big political problem, and all these police officers are dead, and then people have to answer for it. So the president gets cold feet and says, no, call this off. I don't want to start a war anymore, even though I've already pulled the trigger, and we've already kidnapped the girl, we've already done this, and we've already
killed the other dudes.
Makes no fucking sense. And so then what does that do? Unfortunately, the little girl does the stupidest fucking thing she can do while there's gunfire and 50 caliber bullets being fired everywhere. She leaves the armored car
into the desert
and just walks off into the desert. So of course, Benicio del Toro has to go after her, and once they shut down the op, he is betrayed. And the secretary,
Which really doesn't make any goddamn sense.
Right.
So the handler, Catherine Kinnear, comes in and says, you have to kill the girl and kill Benicio del Toro, but they're going to let all of the other operatives live. And so it's like, why do we have to kill that guy? Like, he's part of this thing too, and they've
Because
always
he's
been
not
working
part
together.
of the organization. He's an outsider.
he is an outsider that Josh Brolin's character.
Well, Josh Brolin's an outsider too. He's not a member of the
No,
military.
he is. He is the one that assembles his team. That's what they say. You have the power to get buy whatever you want. So he goes to the shady guy, who's usually a comedian. I forgot what that guy's name is. And then he gives him Black Hawk helicopters, all sorts of stuff, and works with his own team that he wants. But yeah, it's just so many tropes.
Yeah.
And
I
give me a coincidence.
So they're driving away from a mall in McAllen, and this little kid who ends up being a coyote.
Joe was like, hey,
It doesn't look anything like where I grew
it says
up.
McAllen. Joe was born in McAllen, and they were like, did I see this? Did they show the Mexico and then the camera moved over and it was
Yeah,
Texas?
Benz.
Right
Okay,
next to a
all
mall right
right.
there.
So in that case, but I didn't know it was that fucking close.
Yeah,
because
it
the
should be right
camera's
there.
like, look,
Right across
boom,
the street.
and it's right across the street. But yeah, no, we know it's close. But I guess the point is, no, it doesn't have to be right at the border. It's just these are where the what do you call them?
Lookouts.
Camels and
Coyotes.
coyotes, not camels. These are where the coyotes transport people across the border,
They take 'em
and
to the mall.
he's getting his little cousin to join. So you've got these two storylines. Gosh, I should have talked about this in your review. We always forget something.
Well, I don't want to. So like that was a big thing. I wanted to
Yeah.
talk about it in the review, but so we have this kid.
completely unrelated
Yeah,
storyline.
you know that they're completely unrelated, and you know they're going to intersect eventually. And the stupidest thing that happens is this 15-year-old kid's walking through a parking lot of a mall, and the Josh Brolin, Benicio del Toro, and this other dude almost hit him with a car, and then he like punches the hood, and then I'm tough because I'm 15, and then they turn on the sirens, and then he immediately memorizes
shit.
their faces,
Yeah.
and then you know that's going to be the intersection, so immediately you're like, this stupid coincidence is going to happen, and then they set it up super poorly where the kid at night through a dirty window staring at a light source
with a huge hat
and
on.
Benicio del Toro has a huge hat on
Because
and
he's been
in a serape.
betrayed, so he wants to get the daughter character across the border back into the United States, even though that's exactly where they're going to kill her.
No, he doesn't know that's. Maybe he does. I don't know.
It doesn't make any sense. Anyway, but he recognizes
He
him.
recognizes
He
him.
does because they're like, hey, we gotta clean it up.
Yeah.
I know, it's stupid. Why are you going back to the U.S. where they're waiting for you?
He can't
Black
kill a
Ops will
kid.
just fucking kill.
So-
Well, so yeah, because
Might as well have
he
somebody
was
else.
the second.
She'd be safer, way safer in Mexico, but yet he takes her to the place that she is unsafe, even though they called him on the phone and said, we need to kill the girl. And he's like, I can't do that. He's like, well, you got to do what you got to do. All right, I'll see you soon. I'll bring her to America anyway. No, he doesn't say that part. But that's what he does.
Yeah, but he grew. It's the hitman that has a heart of gold because there's two. Josh Brolin did it, and Benicio del Toro did it,
So
and I hated
the-
both times it happened.
So this is the film where their hearts grew 3 times and broke the little stethoscope. And so towards the end of the film, Benicio del Toro is recognized, caught, and that little 15-year-old boy that recognized him shoots him in the fucking head.
Well, he has a-
And I was like, holy fucking shit. Like, I fucking hate this film. But I was gonna try to be okay with it because the brutality of these kind of things. Like, hey man, even the most badass fucking hitman die
Yeah.
in shitty
Yeah,
ways.
I was
So I was like,
okay with
all right,
it.
all right. I was okay with it in a way if you can end the film in a satisfactory manner. But he's not dead. They do another trope. Ha ha! Ha ha! He shot him through the cheek. Didn't destroy his teeth or anything. He apparently had his mouth open.
Yeah, it's like,
Or something.
He's in pain. He's losing a lot of blood, but yeah.
Oh yeah,
was-
he did look pretty fucked up.
Yeah, he
So
actually
that was
looked
some,
really
that was some
good.
good acting. That was some good acting there. But he gets up and you're like, what the fuck? And then he just so happens to walk across the convoy where after they murdered him, they take the girl, and I guess they're taking her back to Reyes to sell her to the cartel.
Reyes or the other cartel, or whatever
maybe
cartel.
the rival cartel.
Yeah,
right.
whichever.
We
We-
never
we-
figured
Yeah,
out.
that
But
was
the
okay.
helicopters come down, Josh Brolin, and he's gonna murder the girl and everybody. And at first I thought he shot her. Remember when he opened that door and the guy's like, no, I'm gonna kill her, and he's like, and I'm like, holy shit, he's fucking killed the
He did a
girl.
double tap. He's like, pop, pop. I was like, I guess.
Did you think that she died? I thought that. Did you
No,
think
I didn't
that-
think she died.
No,
Because in the helicopter, they say, where is she? Where's the prize? And it says, passenger side this. And then he said, our prize is in the driver's side. Or he says the other thing.
I
on
know,
it.
but
But
they
then
want. They are
also
going
said-
to kill him. But you knew that. Oh, I just want to know where she is to not
you
kill
could,
her.
you like you said, like his heart grew, and
Yeah,
you
yeah.
knew that
But
he was going to
also
do something
said,
stupid.
You know what? Fuck it all.
Yeah, he did say, fuck, what are
Yeah.
the rules of engagement? Fuck it all. He makes the decision. Anyway, they fake out the audience like they kill her. They really don't. And the guys are like, what the fuck are you doing? And he puts her on the helicopter and they don't go, no, sir. You know, they all fall in line because it's his team. It's his guy, so that makes sense. And now they're going to put her in witness protection. I don't know how.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Like,
They're going to put her on the border and...
how are they going to put in witness protection when the government just
They're
said, no,
setting
we're
up
not
the
going
third
to.
Right, the
movie.
government
We
wants
want
to murder
nothing
her.
to do with you.
Right.
What the fuck are you doing?
We were gonna murder our own operative and the chick. You don't think we'll murder her later, or
Yeah.
you if you bring her back? What the fuck is your
She's not
problem?
She's got
Safe.
plot armor on.
So we're like, what the
Good
hell?
one.
Benicio del Toro wakes up. He wanders the desert until he finds the exact trucks that were blown apart by the helicopters. Gets in one of them, starts driving. Hits a pole, but then has
Well,
to
first
resolve.
he grenades some guy
Oh, yeah.
first, which was awesome. It didn't make
Yeah.
any sense, but it was
I
awesome.
thought maybe it was a police officer who was driving on the opposite side, but it was more Sicarios, and he just tosses a grenade in there, blows up, and resolves to do nothing for a year. Because it says 1 year later, here comes the 15-year-old who's now 16, and he's got
covered
some
in
sick tats.
But they're not good looking. Like I just
I
read
know.
an article
They were
where
all-
like tattoo artists rank like what bad movie tattoos look like, and he was covered in bad movie tattoos.
It was bad movie tattoos. And he goes to his little, I don't know, Chocos or Pollo Locos from Breaking Bad and opens up the back and boom, there is the guy that he shot in the head that should be dead. And he was like, whoa. And he's like, sit down. And he's
Let's
like,
let's decide your future.
so, you want to be a Sicario? Let's talk about your future. And then he closes the door.
That's it.
And I was like, don't you do it. Don't you do it. Smash to black.
Kill
I was
that
like, number one, fuck that kid. He's a terrible shot. Why are you even picking him to continue your legacy or to be a hitman? He shot you. And he's an ignorant little fuck, and you have an awesome backstory, and you're so fucking cool, and you're gonna pass your legacy or train this guy? It cheapens the whole film, it cheapens him, and it's so stupid. And it doesn't even resolve the more important plot line that you've been talking about the whole fucking
girl.
film. The little girl, what happens when they go across the border? So now we literally have to wait for the third film to get that resolution, although nobody in the audience gives a shit at this point.
Yeah, I don't care.
Because it was such a poor ass storyline. And they didn't build up the girl enough to where you actually gave a shit about her. Like, honestly, if they killed her, I'd have been like, well, that sucks, you know? Probably shouldn't be punching little girls at school and being a little, you know, asshole to other
That's what
people. Nah, I
happens
was
when your
playing.
dad's a kingpin.
No, I'm playing. They do try to, you know, make her a sympathetic character, and she does actually an all right job of acting.
You know,
she'll stare down, you know, the hitman.
I
to their
definitely
face.
believe that she's like evil.
Me
and she's
too.
definitely like
Not
had-
evil, but like tough, like a fuck.
If
like,
she had a maid that she didn't like, she's like, I want you to like throw in front of a bus.
Yeah.
Like she's definitely given that order before.
yeah, which is, you know, once she, even if they returned her to her father, that those little coyotes, she'd have been like, I want all of them dead for putting the fucking
You put duct
tape on my face. Like, you know how much that hurts that when you take that shit off.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, so yeah.
One more thing.
What are more? Go ahead.
So Benicio del Toro is having a little conference with the little girl and says, we need to make sure our lives are the same.
Yeah.
You tell them you paid me to act as your
Yes.
father, and I will tell them the same thing so our lives are the same. And then the second they're separated, she goes with the plan and says, no, she says exactly the lie, and he changes it. So it's his own damn. Like, why? Why would he
No,
change
no,
it?
no, no, no. You're confused. Let me help you with this one. That was the plan if they went to the border police and the border police was asking them questions and they got caught by U.S. Border Patrol. That wasn't the plan when the coyotes turn on them and realize that he's a cop because the freaking 15-year-old recognized him. So I don't know why she did that. I don't know why she said that, because at the last minute he said, is he working for Reyes? Because he tries to get out of the situation by saying, look, she's very dangerous. I'm with Reyes. And I guess they don't believe him, even though she says, yes, he's with, my father hired him.
So that was it was only a conditional. Like, they didn't say if we get caught by these guys. You just said if we get caught, this is our lie.
No,
She sticks
it was
with it.
supposed to be a double lie if they got caught by the Border Patrol and they were saying, oh, they're lying. She told a different lie and he told a different lie, so they really are.
Well, I mean, that makes sense, but that's not what they said at all. Like, that could have been what his intention was, but it just said, like, this is what our lie is, and then he changes it and gets shot in the face, so he deserved it.
Yeah, and there was just a bunch of...
He deserved it.
Hey, he probably only lost, like, what, 2 teeth?
And we get this, the thing is, the guy never gets fucking revenge. They tease this revenge. Oh, you're going to get revenge on Reyes.
I'd rather have that film.
Exactly.
Well,
and all he did shoot the lawyer.
He did shoot the guy, like, it was
That
weird.
was a
He sticks his
badass
finger in the trigger and just does this. It's like, wait, what?
Yeah, if you want to shoot everybody at the shooting range, Joe, they can't control that crap. Anyways, and this was Mexico City, and it's funny because the cars are just, as he's going, the cars are like, they don't care. It's like, guess this is a regular thing.
I guess
What the fuck?
it's none of my business.
Because there was no police, the cars weren't, people weren't screaming. I was like, damn, man, this is a brutal ass place. So he gets half revenge. He gets the lawyer, and maybe in the third film he'll get the drug boss, but he won't, because they're no longer a team, and now he's really pissed at that one lady.
Well, they did
the
foreshadow.
Black Ops lady.
He's like,
he's gonna come kill you.
If he lives, he's gonna come kill you.
They're gonna forget about that. Don't worry.
Oh yeah, they'll probably, and then they'll do another mission where they go and kill the cartel. Is the cartel even matter anymore?
No, because I thought this movie was originally about like Muslim terrorists, and
Yeah,
then it was Somali pirates,
and then it was cartel,
and then it's not really cartel because we saw no one from any cartel at all.
Right.
All we saw was corrupt cops.
And so then it was just a story about how the government fucks over their black ops.
And this is what
teams.
I hate. I just hate these fillers because it does not make me want to go out and go see the third one, or same thing with Jurassic World. I don't want to see it.
I don't want to see the third
But I
one.
wanted to see this movie, and I definitely didn't want to see Jurassic World.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why it hurts more. That's why we were harder on our ratings on it. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. We talk a little longer for these ones that really hurt. We think it's here. It's really here. That's why it's longer. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next Angry Joe Show.